Okay, so what happens when you combine fairy dust with fairy wings? Well, you get a couple of things, but these are the last of the projects. I have been smashing my stash, and as much as I hated cutting into this fairy dust collection, I did. I also had some fairy wings journaling and ephemera card. And by the way, Graphic 45, if you're listening, make these journaling and ephemera cards. I love working with them. They're just lovely. There is another project coming up. I don't have it yet on my site. I just have a couple of final details to put on. But as part of my Paper Stash Smash collab, I wanted to use up all the rest of the paper. And I did. I'm trying to think, did I have anything left after this? No, I don't think so. I mean, tiny little scraps when I fussy cut. But I made a couple of things. I'll show you these tags in a second, but let me take you a walk through on this album. I've been making some 3.5 by 4.5 little mini albums, and I have a tutorial. If it's not on my site today, it will be on there soon. So please hit the bell for notifications and subscribe, obviously, so you know when it's done. So I used one of the journaling cards. Actually, I used two. One I glued down first. The other one I added the journaling card onto some fun foam with double-sided adhesive. Then I used my craft knife to cut around it. I don't know, can you see the dimension on here? Maybe. I did ink around the edges of this with the blue to match with what was on there. So there's just two layers. There's this top layer, which is the fairy with her flute, the violets and the daisies and the frame, and then the second one is where it says dreams and the outline. So anyhow, I've been having fun doing that. It makes a nice sturdy cover. I was going to fussy cut a lot, but I didn't. So anyhow, that is the front cover. Underneath that is just some smaller paper, and then under that is some, I just inked around some white paper to make it a little, just to make it match a little more. I've been doing something else different is I've been using different color paper to make these albums. Obviously this one was purple to make the album. There is the spine and here's the back. This is my favorite paper. It might be my favorite Graphic 5 paper of all time. I mean, I know I like the farmhouse paper, but this, I love violets and I love lilies of the valley. I think those are sweet peas. If they only had in some daffodils, I would be in love. I would wallpaper my room with this kind of paper. Not that you can find this collection too much, but anyhow. Inside the front cover is a side-loading pocket. See, I love that one too. There's a little stamp with daffodils and then a couple of journaling cards. Now again, the journaling cards came from Fairie Wings and the paper was from Fairie Dust. I think they melded together pretty well. They're not matchy-matchy, but they're close enough. Here's just one of the cut-aparts from the paper collection, the Fairy Dust paper collection. Here's a pocket. I cut this to put on that pocket because I just love the detailing of this, and then added one of the stamps there. The pages themselves are from the paper. I didn't make the pages with cardstock. I made the pages from the paper. And I just folded it over and had pockets to both sides. So I could use some of these. This is from the paper collection too. It's not the ephemera cards. I added another little stamp there. This I just glued on the top to make it just a quick little flap. Use this paper underneath. So you could easily add photos to here and a photo to there. It would look great. This is a top-loading pocket. I just loved that. I mean, how could you not? I guess I loved it all. So anyhow, that's inside. The next page has, I made a flap. I took one piece of paper. I think I had this one piece of paper left over. Had a couple of these cards still from the collection. With the flap, I folded this over and glued it top and bottom. I did add a magnet inside. I added it underneath, actually. I cut this fairy dust out of a card, I think, or maybe another paper like that. This is all one paper that I just folded to make it work because it's a beautiful image. Yeah. I glued this paper on here, and there's the magnet there and the magnet there. So that's how that whole page works. So here is another one of the cards. A bit of detailing there. Another one of the stamps. Another one of the border strips. Here's the Fairie Wings. No, that's not. That's from the paper collection. I guess I didn't have that many cards left by the time I got here. So here, I had this one piece of paper left. It's like, what am I going to do with it? So I folded it and scored it. I made a little side loading pocket here, just a 1/2 inch little tab, and then glued a couple papers together so you can add photos onto there. There's the back. Does this open? Yep. So this is one 8x8 paper that I just scored 3, 6, couldn't have been 9. Or maybe it's 2.5. Maybe that's what it was. Let's see. 2.5, 5, 7.5, and then there was an extra 1/2 inch tab, so I glued that to this, scored it 2.5, 5, and then took the little 1/2 inch tab, folded it over, glued it on top and bottom to make it the little tuck spot. And then I took this, have you seen the fairies dance, and made a little belly band out of it. I could have put a stamp on top, but I didn't want to cover the words because, I mean, it's fairies. Had a couple more cards left, so I added them into this little pocket. And just, there we go. It's a thin pocket, but you can stick this in here. So can you imagine giving this to a little kid with lots of pictures in it? I mean, it's just fabulous. Okay, and then yes, I had a little bit of paper left over, so I made a couple of tags. I just thought these would be fun. You can use them as bookmarks. You could just hang them as home decor. You know, just add them into your room. Use them as tags for a gift bag. If you're going to give somebody this, make your own little gift bag, and on the back you could write something. So this is where I started having fun fussy cutting. I fussy cut this and this, inked inside just so it's a little darker so you could see these popped up. This is fussy cut too, so is the Lily of the Valley. My 3rd or 4th favorite flower is forget-me-nots, and so I added them here. The butterflies popped up, the little fairies there. I've got a couple of them little mushrooms. Some of this paper was actually from another paper collection from Graphic 45. The name escapes me. Under the Sea? One of those. But you Graphic 45 people know what I'm talking about. So anyhow, I made just a couple of things. Stay tuned because there is a fabulous album coming up soon with the Fairie Dust collection. I'm really proud of it, and there's a tutorial and everything. The cover was lots of fun, and I'm still putting the final details on that. So stay tuned. So anyhow, used all the rest of my Fairie Dust in Fairie Wings, and I'm fairied out. So I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fabulous